Lesson 9. Postmodernism. Postmodernism is a term current inside and outside the academic study of popular culture. It has entered discourses as different as pop music journalism and Marxist debates on the cultural conditions of later multinational capitalism. Postmodernism in the 1960s. The term postmodern had been in circulation since the 1870s. In the late 1950s and year 1960s, we see the beginnings of what is now understood as postmodernism. Susan Sontag's new sensibility was in part a revolt against modernism's avant-garde revolution. Jean-François Lyotard. Jean-François Lyotard's 1984 principal contribution to the debate on postmodernism is the Postmodern Condensation, published in France in 1979 and translated into English in 1984. For Lyotard, the postmodern condition is marked by a crisis in the status of knowledge in Western societies. See Jean Baudrillard. Baudrillard argues that it is no longer possible to separate the economic or productive realm from the realms of ideology or culture, since cultural artifacts, images, representations, even feelings and structures have become part of the world of the economic. For Baudrillard, postmodernism is not simply a culture of the sign, rather it is a culture of the simulacrum. Fredric Jameson.
Jameson differs from other theorists is in his insistence that postmodernism can best be theorized from within Marxist or neo-Marxist framework. For Jameson, postmodernism is more than just a particular cultural style. It is above all a periodizing concept. 1985. Postmodernism is the cultural dominant of late or multinational capitalism. Postmodern pop music. For Jameson 1984, the difference between modernist and postmodernist pop music is quite clear. The Beatles and the Rolling Stones represent a modernist moment against which punk rock, The Clash, for example, and new wave Talking Heads, for example, can be seen as postmodernist. Goodwin himself considers a number of ways of seeing pop music and pop music culture as postmodernist. Postmodern television. Television, like pop music, does not have a period of modernism to which it can be post. But, as Jim Collins 199 points out, television is often seen as the quintessence of postmodern culture. This claim can be made on the basis of a number of television's textual and contextual features. Postmodernism and the pluralism of value. Postmodernism has disturbed many of the old certainties surrounding questions of cultural value. In particular, it has problematized question of why some texts are canonized, while others disappear without trace. That is, why only certain texts supposedly pass the test of time. The postmodern return to questions of value has witnessed an increased interest in the work of Pierre Bourdieu 1984. The global postmodern. One way in which the world is said to be becoming postmodern is in its increasing globalization. Globalization as cultural. Americanization assumes that economic success is the same as cultural imposition. For example, American sociologist Herbert Schiller claims that the ability of American companies to successfully unload commodities around the globe is producing an American global. The role of media corporations is to make programs that create and reinforce their audience's attachments to the system overall. Convergence culture. Another aspect of the postmodern is convergence culture, where old and new media collide, where grassroots and corporate media intersect. Convergence involves the flow of media content across a range of different platforms. This is not simply a matter of new technologies, but a process that requires the active participation of consumers.
Modern culture is the set of norms, expectations, experiences, and shared meaning that evolved amongst the people of the modern era. This began as early as the Renaissance and ran late as 1970.